So, if you've been trying to learn Spanish and you're looking online and all you're seeing is, oh man, just comprehensive input, and oh man, just watch Netflix with subtitles, which that's all you need, or just find a Latina girlfriend. All this is complete bullshit. I think a lot of people are kind of stepping out against this as of lately. I've been seeing some videos on it, but I remember when I was learning Spanish, that's everything I was seeing too, was like comprehensive input. Just, man, just change your phone to Spanish, which is I don't recommend at all. I highly don't. I don't recommend it at all. It's the benefits is not the benefits isn't there. Or, there was like this YouTube video where like they were saying just learn through Netflix, right? You could just sit down on the couch and lay back, and just Spanish will just download into your brain, and all this other silly ass shit they talked about. It was a lot. It's a lot of it was a lot of bullshit when I was learning, but none of that worked for me. None of it worked, and I just was like, man, this shit can't be. This can't be the way. You know what I'm saying? Like it can't be. So throughout my journey, right, and how I actually achieved it was not by doing any of that, but at the same time too, there is a time and place for immersion, right? There is a benefit to immersion. It's just that it's a I would say it's 1/3 to 1/4 of the whole process, right? Like it's not like immersion is not the end all be all that's gonna like just make it to where you're a Spanish speaker in you know a year or something like that. It's just no. It's in my opinion, a lot of people are lazy, right? And the comprehensive input, the immersion your way to be fluent in Spanish, it just appeals to a lot of people who don't want to put the work in, right? People who think that if they just put on a Spanish playlist and just listen to it on their way through traffic, on their way to work or something like that, somehow Spanish will prevail into your brain, right? You just magically, eventually, you don't know when, you don't know how, but Spanish will be inside, and you will become, fluent in Spanish. It's not how it works. So that's essentially the wrong way, right? Now the right way to learn Spanish is this. So the right way to learn Spanish, I want you to think about something, right? When you think about learning Spanish, what is it to do? The ultimate goal. The ultimate goal is to speak, right? That is our ultimate goal. When we want to learn Spanish, we want to speak to people. We want to be in other environments. We want to speak to people that are, not um maybe we just want to speak to people. We want to like be safe. We want to express ourselves. We want to show our needs, wants, desires, all those things, right? That's what we want to do when we speak Spanish. We don't really want to read flashcards. You know what I'm saying? We don't want to go through Duolingo challenges. We think that's what's going to get us there, but that shit is not going to do it. We want to listen to music. We want to understand the music, right? We want to, but that's why I say that's a part of it. Because when you start speaking in Spanish, you're going to receive feedback, right? So let's say you hear something. There's no way you know that you're saying it correct or that you're saying it the right way unless you get feedback. The best way to get feedback is to get out into the field and actually speak to people. So the problem with this immersion comprehensive input for Spanish is that you're not going out and talking to people. Like you're not out there communicating. You're not in the field. So the right way is to get to speaking as fast as possible. Understand vocabulary, learn the letters of Spanish, right? The basic building blocks of any language, right? Of the letters. Learn those things, right? And then start to learn sentences. Start to learn power verbs like quiere, tengo que, um, I have to. Tengo que is I have to. Poder is to be able to, like things like that, and then match them up with like other words. So I have all this in my Spanish learning system. You can go into the link in the description box below. I go through all of this in more detail and things like that. But I'm going into a detail here as well because it's very important. So once you are using also like an app like Spanish Dictionary, right? So you go into Spanish Dictionary and you say something to it, like you put in there an English sentence that you want to say in Spanish, right? And this is not like Google Translate. It's not like Google Translate. So you go in there, you put the sentence in, like you say, I want to go to the movies, right? You put that in there, and it's gonna spit it back to you in Spanish, right? So now what's happening is that you're seeing words, right? You're seeing how a sentence is being formulated, and then Spanish Dictionary allows you to go to each one of the words and gets the verb, the meaning, the conjugations, all that stuff. So you don't have to do a bunch of fucking grammar drills. Nobody wants to do grammar drills. I hated doing grammar drills. Nobody wants to do that shit. So this eliminates a lot of the friction and a lot of other stuff that we've been conditioned to do under, in traditional and common Spanish learning methods. So when you go in there, you start to learn words, you start to learn how to formulate sentences. Now you're going to go in the Spanish dictionary and you're going to practice these sentences in Spanish, right? And also too, if you put the sentence in there in English first, it's going to spit it back in English to you. I mean, back in Spanish to you, and then you can hit like play audio, and it'll play the sentence to you, and you can hear how it's being formulated. That's how you learn Spanish. It's not about just randomly just putting a bunch of Netflix movies on and putting the audio in Spanish. That's just not gonna get you nowhere. Trust me. The only time that will work is if you are rising in levels, right? So, for example, if you're a beginner, the type of media you should be listening to, if it's not a song, because I do recommend songs because songs are like 2 to 3 minutes, so you can understand the context, you can translate those words, and then listen to that repeatedly for 2 to 3 minutes, and you're not like investing a lot of time, and you're also enjoying the music. But if you're at a lower level, you need to be listening to media at that level. So like stuff for kids, right? And a lot of people like scoff at that, but like shit, that's what helped me. Man, I'm talking about when I was learning Spanish, I stripped everything off. I'm talking about Duolingo, all these little courses I had. I started at the foundation. I said, look, I don't care what happens. I am going to learn Spanish, right? And where I got this from, right? I was in a taxi when I was in Mexico, right? This is before I spoke any Spanish at all. I couldn't speak anything. And I was trying to explain to him, can you pull over to the side, right? And I couldn't express it. And he was like, "What are you talking about? I don't understand you." And I was just so frustrated, right? And he was like, "Amigo, poco a poco cada dia." And so that means little by little every day. So I told myself, man, look, I am going to learn this. I am going to learn Spanish. I'm going to have a system on this. I am going to break this down. And at the same time, I was also in school for like, computer science. So I kind of already had like a computer system type mindset when it came to all this. So like I was gonna like incorporate. So I've incorporated that with learning Spanish because Spanish is it's an information system. It's a system like all other languages. It has rules, it has grammar, it has syntax. So it's just like learning a programming language, right? So I said I am going to break this thing down. So what I did, I went right back to the basics. I was like, okay, so I learned the ABC song. The ABC, they call them ABCDeros in Spanish, and I just wanted because I had to hear the pronunciations. And what happened was something cool. What happened with that when I started learning the letters, I was able to like when I heard a word, I could put the pronunciation together just like I did in English, and I could like literally start spelling the word. Like it was awesome. I was like, oh shit. Cause like I don't know, man. Like every time I took a online course or something, they just gave you a bunch of phrases or like how to conjugate. All that everybody's tired of that shit. We're tired of conjugations. We're tired of grammar drills. We're tired of Duolingo. We want to speak Spanish. That is the goal. The goal is to speak Spanish. Nobody wants to just deal with all this shit all day, man. People want to. People are tired. People want results. And through my Spanish learning system, the whole core concept of the system is this, right? The faster, you get the faster we get you to speaking Spanish, the faster you'll be more engaged, the faster you'll have more fun, and with all that, you're gonna stick with it. Because that's what we need to happen. We need you to stick with it because it's gonna be challenging. You're going to have troubles. You're going to have issues. Oops. Yeah, you're going to have issues. But if you're bored as hell, right? Like, doing grammar drills or studying vocabulary and having flashcards, you're bored as hell, you're not gonna stick with it. Because if we're being honest, let's be honest. It's like a lot of times learning Spanish is like not it's like a necessity, but it's like you can kind of get around not doing it, right? So what happens is when you're faced with all this stuff, this high friction, this boring ass material, these useless ass studying strategies, it's like, oh fuck it. You're like, oh, I'm not gonna do it. I'm just gonna thug it out. I'm just gonna thug it out. Fuck, I'm not even gonna learn Spanish no more, right? I'm just gonna do my thing, make it happen. Google Translate got me, and that's the thing, right? So the Spanish learning system is designed to, like I said, keep you engaged. Because learning Spanish is a great thing, man. Spanish is a beautiful language. More people should learn it. And then if you learn Spanish, you can use these same principles and move to another language for it. You know what I'm saying? Yeah. So I think that's pretty much it, though. If you enjoyed this video and you got a lot of value from it, you should check out my Spanish learning system. The link will be in the description box below. Um, so yeah, let's get to learning Spanish, y'all. Peace.